It's your girl, and she's back. Now, Miss Clayton's gonna have to make a bit of a captain's call. What that means is for tonight, we're gonna put the dating pool on ice. We're gonna chill it out. We're gonna delve deeper into people returning from your past. Because sometimes family and friends spin the block. All right, babies. So if you was here with me last week, I appreciate you being back again here this week. If you're new and this is your first time checking out Hey Miss Clayton, welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about how this goes. If you've got a question, if you've got a situation you may be going through that you don't really feel like you can talk to anybody about, or if you just got something you want to hear discussed, jump into Miss Clayton's DMs over on Instagram, Facebook, or you can send me an email via heymissclayton at gmail.com and let me know what's on your mind. Feel free to send me a voice note. You can send in a video that might get played on the show, or you can write me a long love letter. And baby, I promise y'all, Miss Clayton reads every single one. Which brings us to tonight's episode. It turns out a few of y'all aren't just haunted by an ex, but some of y'all are haunted by family members and friends. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, when it comes to family, are you missing this person? Are you missing their presence? Are you missing the familiarity? Or are you just tired of family dinners feeling awkward? Holidays being strange because you got some family that you don't deal with or ain't talking to. Or maybe it's not even you. Maybe you got aunts that aren't getting along. Maybe you've got a brother and a sister who aren't getting along. So, what do we do in those situations? First and foremost, let me say don't feel obligated because it's family to allow this person into your present. Now, we like to think all families are very tightly knit, but the fact of the matter is, we're not. We're all perfectly imperfect. Reconciliation should be a choice, not an obligation. See, because we don't owe people an entry into our present, and we don't owe people an entry or a pass to who we've become. See, sometimes we get familiar with certain people and certain things, and that includes family members, and we feel like we can let them in. We feel like, oh, they're family, bring them on back. But sometimes you got to watch family too. Sometimes you got to put the side eye on them, right? Oh, yeah. Don't feel pressured because it's the right thing to do. So people think. Don't feel pressured because, oh, this is your sister, this is your brother, this is your cousin, this is your family. You grew up with this person. Sometimes bringing certain people back into your life is just a pass for them to do it again. What you need to do is determine why, and I said this in regards to X, why do you want this person back in your life? Why is this person trying to come back into your life? Is there some sort of guilt on your part? Is there some guilt on their part? Are we reconciling because it's the right thing to do? Are we reconciling or trying to reconcile because we're familiar? See, sometimes shared history can get you caught up. Sometimes shared history will make you think that you owe this person a seat at your table. You owe this person a spot in your life. And that's not always the case. That's not always true. So you got to determine what it is and why you want this person back in your life. So, what this means, again, is the evaluation process. Has this person changed? Sometimes people want to circle back because they have no one. Sometimes they want to circle back because they want that old thing back, that old feeling back, that old friendship back. And it's okay to start small. You don't have to get crazy with it and jump right in because you feeling good, they feeling good. Everybody wants to make things work. Take your time. Taking your time means if you got to start with texting, start with a text. Let a text build up into a phone call. Let a phone call turn into a meetup. Let a meetup turn into short little get togethers or gatherings. Give yourself the space to see what you need to see, to feel what it is you need to feel, and to make certain you're okay with having this person back around. Now, it may be an instance where time and distance just tore you apart, and it's not necessarily an issue. But from what I got from those of you who did reach out to me, it seems to be a little strife. Now, Miss Clayton will also say and will tell you life is short. So you want to forgive and you want to move on. However, forgiveness is internal. Again, that's for you. That's for your peace. That's for your well being. That's for your satisfaction. Reconciliation, that's external. Reconciliation takes two, or however many is involved. So all parties have to be willing to reconcile. All parties have to be willing to do the work, and all parties have to be consistent in that work and in those efforts. Patterns over promises, y'all. Because some people will tell you one thing and then they'll turn right around and do another. So check that. Family or not, you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your heart. So again, look at those patterns. Make sure they on the up and up. Make sure folks are honoring their word through their actions and through consistency. Because there's nothing I hate more than seeing families torn apart. I've got family members myself who don't speak and don't get along. And these folks, when I say flesh and blood, I mean come from the same womb. And personally, I hate to see it because I love all parties involved. But I'm not neither one of those parties, so I don't understand what they may feel, what they may be going through. But I will say life is short, and we've got to love one another because sometimes family is all we got. But some folks, family is everything they don't need. Most importantly, y'all, even with family, you got to set boundaries. You've got to let people know what you will and won't tolerate. And you've got to show them that through your actions because sometimes words ain't enough. We teach people how to treat us by the boundaries we set. Get clear on your boundaries, understand what they are, make sure you live exactly as the boundaries you set because that's what's going to help protect you. That's what's going to help give you peace. And that's going to help people understand what lines they can and can't cross. Because, baby, over here, Miss Clayton drawing the line. And I hope you do too. The last point I want to make in finishing up the conflict with family is not only do you have to manage your situation and maybe your reconciliation with someone, sometimes in these situations, you got to manage family as well. Because again, you get people who are hopeful, like myself, and we'll push because we want things to work out, because after all, we are family. But sometimes you got to check that too, and you got to manage that as well. Family will encourage and push you sooner than you're ready. You ain't got to be disrespectful. You ain't got to cuss nobody out, but you do got to let them know, listen, this is on my terms and on my time. People always got their opinions. They always got their 2 cents. If they ain't got at least $1, then ain't no need for them to add their cents. Again, when it comes to managing the whole situation, if you're not quite ready, I do encourage you to be peaceful. I do encourage you to stay cordial. I do encourage you to speak, say hello, but you don't have to ignore. You don't have to cuss somebody out every time you see them. You don't have to put somebody in their place every time. Now, friends, baby, friends are going to be a little different. Friends are going to be a little special. Why is that? Because unlike your family, you can choose your friends. Well, hell, some of y'all choose your family too. Shit, let's just be honest. But again, your friends are chosen. Your friends are people that you choose. Sometimes they choose you, but that's what makes friendship unique. Sometimes friendships just fade because people, we outgrow each other. Sometimes you're moving in places and spaces and directions that maybe your friends aren't ready to go. And just like with anybody, you can't take everybody everywhere. So sometimes you got to leave a sucker behind, right? Miss Clayton's done that a time or two. And I ain't judging if you do. And ain't nothing wrong with it, baby. If you got to step on the gas and leave a couple suckers behind, baby, go, baby, go. Not every friendship is meant to be a lifelong marathon. As we know, people come around for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And it's up to you to decide and to choose who's going to be on those journeys with you, who's going to fall into what category, who's been that lesson that you've always needed. But people can't go everywhere you go. Sometimes you got friends who are there for a season. Sometimes you got friends that are there to help you through some things. Maybe you've fallen on a bad time in life. Maybe you need help and guidance in a certain area of life. And God will bless you with someone to help you do that. And then you've got those friends who are lifers, baby. I've got a couple of those. And thankful for those lifers. Remember, the important part is talk to yourself. Get familiar with yourself. Ask yourself these questions and make sure you understand why you're making the decisions that you're making. So, with a friendship, you've got to ask, are you mourning this person's company? Are you mourning that friendship you had? Are you in a familiar place in life and you remember and recall the time this person was there to help you through something similar? Think about those things because all of this is going to be important in helping you decide, again, whether you want to reconcile and give this person an entry into your current life or if you need to keep on stepping because they ain't going to like it, but you're going to keep on stepping. Y'all know how the song go. How your friendship ended should dictate how it restarts. Reconnection. Is it worth it to you? See, you've got to look at yourself and ask yourself, how have you grown? And have you grown so much that bringing this person back into your life might feel like a step backwards? Could it feel like you're hitting a backslide? Is this person a ghoster? Did this person ghost your friendship? And now that they're back, and maybe things are going great. But if times get hard, is this person going to ghost you again? See, you got to find out all these things. And again, it comes with clarity, boundary setting, actions matching the words, and consistency over time. Because this is not a fly by night operation. This is not a we just gonna fall back into the groove type of situation. And you also got to lay the groundwork for some new rules of engagement. You've got to let them understand you ain't falling for the same okey doke that you did last time. Because, baby, we done been on down through them and we've made the appropriate adjustments and the appropriate changes. Also, know you don't have to let that person back in on the same level they were when they left. You can downgrade them, you can kick them down a couple notches if you need to, and let them show improve and let them work their way back to that type of position. So don't be afraid to kick them down the ladder, y'all. Some people need that. And don't hand over the emotional keys until they've proven that they won't wreak havoc in your life. But stay mindful. Again, stay in a place of civility, but stay mindful. Before you dive back in, baby, check them receipts. Pull at the phone because I know it's a lot of y'all out there that save all the text messages and the conversations. Pull them out. Read through them again. Check mark some boxes. Or maybe uncheck some boxes. But baby, again, consistency, actions, patterns over promises, all those things, y'all. Make sure they doing it right. Make sure you doing it right. Weigh the situation out. The good, the bad, the ugly. Sometimes the unmentionable. Evaluate it all. Again, check them receipts, check that behavior. And just like you would vet a romantic partner, vet your friends. And always charge that entry fee, baby. Ain't no freebies over here. So just because they've got matching DNA, baby, don't buy their win. History does not pay the entry fee. That's Miss Clayton's time, y'all. So remember, healing ain't pretty, but it's powerful. Let's grow through what we go through. Good night.